Hey, hey there. I'm Meredith, and I'm an intuitive and an astrologer based out of the mountains of North Carolina. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the new moon tomorrow. It's at the second degree of Libra. Just to start off, we're right in the middle of a dark moon, which is the balsamic phase. It's like where you see the really shadowy aspects of the sign prior to the new moon, which in this case is Virgo. So if you want to, go back and listen to my Mercury retrograde in Libra and Virgo video because we're touching on a lot of the same themes within regard to like this new moon, some of the territory that Mercury retrograde just transited over. So Jupiter has been in Aries since May 11th, I believe, and is certainly an energy that is focused on oneself. What are you doing? What are you creating? What are you doing right now for yourself? And like it's an influence, I think, as well, that like prods us into the body. Like it makes us way more physical, primal, instinctual, and it brings a lot of focus and attention actually to the body. So the new moon in Libra is going to be opposing Jupiter. So we've been really confronting this theme of the self and the other, like our relationships. Are we trying to, kind of reminds me of like the spectrum of independence and codependence, where there's like a happy medium there in the center of interdependence, which is ideally where we all want to get. But I think that people are being really reflected with where they're at on that spectrum right now with this new moon. Like if you have a tendency towards codependency, then you're more likely to see that right now in your life. If you have more of like a leaning toward hyper independence, and honestly, like we go back and forth on this spectrum our whole entire lives. So just wanting to share that. I think that this is a really good time to kind of like set an intention for the type of balance that you would like to have in your relationships would be my suggestion. I think that one of the potentials of like the next like seeds we sow with this new moon is because that's what new moons are all about. When you come out of a dark moon and into a new moon, it's like we feel rejuvenated, reborn. New moons are a really good time for resting, actually, and like taking time to just kind of like, chill and to go slowly and go gently, which is all of what the planets are telling us to do right now. There's not a lot going on. There's everything going on, but there's not a lot going on in terms of like Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Chiron, all retrograde. So there's really like nothing to do except for what we've already been doing. And I believe that that this new moon is really just kind of like it's a little, I mean, I hate to use the word portal because I don't believe that every new moon is a portal, but it just kind of strikes me as like a time to be like, what do we want out of our relationships, and where are we at with that? It's just like a personal like check-in point of like, are you happy? And if not, why not? And what do you think that you need to do to get to that point? And I think that a lot of people are going to be making a lot of decisions around relationships. And it's there's a lot of like revelation about that and how we want that part of our life to be. So I would say that this is a really good time to kind of like rest, to chill, to make sure that the seeds that you plant in the next cycle, which like as the moon begins to wax, like the energy of what you sort of like intended or thought of on the new moon sort of like grows, expands, it like begins to kind of take root. And then the waxing cycle is just like a letting go, and then a final like purification through the new moon. So you want your seeds to be clean, I think, is like a big part of this. You want your seeds to be, you know, like from a pure heart, you know. And I think that with the amount of like opposition and polarity, and like Jupiter like has the best of intentions, but sometimes can become a little bit too optimistic. And I don't think with the other planetary energies right now that I'm going to make a video on October. It's on my list. You know, and that'll be a long video probably, but yeah, so I'm making this video on October. Before I do that though, I'll share that right now Venus is moving into an opposition to Neptune. So Venus in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo in a retrograde station, both in that opposition to Neptune. So for all intents and purposes, we are not seeing something in our life clearly. So, you know, this is really reflecting a lot of things that we might have initiated in the beginning of the year into like March and April. It's definitely like a checkpoint that we're in right now, I think, with all of the retrogrades, the exact Saturn-Uranus square, the Mars-Neptune square that is forming, and the oppositions from Mercury and Venus to Neptune. So I'm going to talk about all of that. I'm going to be making a video for like October very soon, and I'll also talk about sort of the energy leading into that. I'm doing a social media fast right now for a very specific reason. And I think that there's something about Mars and Gemini specifically that is very much like fucking up the information cycle. The information cycle could explode, you know, and is exploding. And there's so much of it. But what good does taking that information in all day actually do for you? You know, that's a question that I have. So for myself, so my Mercury is in Virgo, my Venus is in Virgo. So I was like, I'm going to take a second to do a fast and to kind of like come back to the silence of things and the stillness of things, and maybe get a little bit deeper into that space, because it just feels like a time where we want to be centered. So use this new moon tomorrow, even within its opposition to Jupiter, use it to enrich your life, use it to clean your universe. And yeah, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Be on the lookout for my October video. Also, I'm going to start selling crystals on my website, because I came into a very, very generous inheritance of crystals. So I will be selling those at low cost on my website. At least I think it's low cost. But anyway, I hope that you all have an amazing rest of your day and that you take care of yourself. I obviously have been in like ritual la la land today. So yeah, hope that you have a good one. Bye.